There's a lot of idealism involved when you get into regenerative practices and sustainable farming and all that. There's an elephant in the room, which is population. We cannot talk about a regenerative future with an exponential growing population. Those two don't live in the same world. We already are at a well beyond carrying capacity of humanity. We outstrip the environment twofold, threefold, fourfold. They say we need 2 planets already. So we can't have a conversation about the next 100 years without talking about today. We're at 7 billion. I see very idealistic and also very smart people say very interestingly dumb things. Scientists and biologists have always used carrying capacity for other mammals, and that's across the board. A certain amount of landscape with a certain amount of animals, good carrying capacity, everyone's healthy, everyone's fed. We don't put that same lens on us, and that's a very dangerous thing to do. We see ourselves as special. We see ourselves as gods almost, because what we have done and what we continue to do. We can build these mammoth structures and we look at them and we go, see, we're different. But I don't see ourselves as different. An elephant is also an ecosystem engineer, is that they actually manipulate their environment to fit their needs. And elephants create the entire savanna ecosystem by knocking down trees, and then all the assemblies of zebras and wildebeest can then live around the savanna that the elephant designs. So yes, we are special, but we are not special in the way as God is special. We're very interesting in that we can mimic anything. I think that's our gift, is the mimic. We can act like a wolf, we can act like a beaver, we can act like an elephant, we can act like anything. We can also act like a geological force too. We've gone beyond mimicking animals. We can mimic hurricanes, we can mimic lava flows, we can mimic all of it. So taking that idea and saying, well, what are we doing to the planet around us? It's not positive. We have created so many taboos for ourselves culturally, and not just the United States, but across the world. And even not in such extremes when we move into what's acceptable and what's not, but we can't talk about population. No one can tell someone else how many children they can have. That is still a very taboo subject. And I'm not saying we have to do anything extreme, but maybe de-incentivizing the idea of having more children. That might be a good step. Culturally changing the idea of what is acceptable, how many children are acceptable. Maybe we can make 100-year plan for shrinking our places, making more incentive for having less children or no children, right? These are the things that we can do without having to have these extreme ideas of, well, who chooses? We choose together. It's not, no one is going to be pulling the strings here on population control. But we are a smart enough species that we can have the conversation. But I think if we took population into control and started education of women especially, their rights, birth control, and controlling their rights for reproduction, and not having culturally tell them what's appropriate or not, that's a humongous step forward in where we could be in 100 years from now.